Legends, what's up? It's Darkmech here with a raid guide to the Amalgamation Chamber in Aberrus the Shadowed Crucible for Normal and Heroic. This is a single target raid encounter with 2 phases. Now, phase 1 will see you fighting 2 elementals, and phase 2 will see you fighting
the super elemental.
I'm so edgy. So position-wise to start off with in phase 1, you're going to have 1 boss on each side of the encounter space, at least 50 yards apart, until one of them reaches 50% HP and triggers phase 2. Split your raid up with 1 tank to each side and an even number of healer and DPS, and you'll be aiming to get both of these elementals to 50% roughly at the same time, which will reduce the HP of Molgoth, the super elemental, at the end, as when the 2 elementals reach 50%, they combine, they make Molgoth's health. Now, as a DPS or a healer, if you find that your stacks are getting too high on each side, you can simply move to the other side to allow your stacks to drop and then move over. Or you can elect to just switch sides, that'll be up to your raid. Be aware there are different mechanics to deal with on each elemental side though. So let's talk execution here in phase 1 and abilities. We're going to start off on the Molgoth side, which is the Shadow Elemental. So Corrupting Shadow is a shadow damage dot that pulses every 5 seconds to anyone within 50 yards of the boss. And each stack you receive, you lose 1% max HP. And then if you get hit with any of the boss's abilities, you will gain another stack. Players will get marked with Umbral Detonation Swirls. This is a 6-second debuff that erupts on detonation and deals damage to anyone within 8 yards. Your raid should try and drop these off at the edge of the encounter space on the Molgoth side. Range can stack to try and bait the ability Coalescing Void. This is a little purple shiny orb that spawns on a random player, and its damage is proximity based. If your range is stacking and can Warlock Gate out, it's fantastic. Otherwise, if everyone is spread around like loose chips, just make sure you move away from it when it spawns. On Heroic, there's an ability called Shadow's Convergence, which is a kick-ass band name, but it's a boss ability here that spawns a shitload of shadow orbs around the boss, and then they all pull towards him and you have to get out of the way in time. For the tanks, Molgoth will be hitting you with Shadow Spike. Now this is a large shadow damage nuke that applies Corrupting Shadow. You can immune this with things like AMS, Spell Warding, and Bubble to reset the stacks of Corrupting Shadow, which can certainly come in handy, especially if you're not doing boss swaps, which I don't think will be overly popular. On the Molten Nana side, Blazing Heat is a dot that will be applied to all players in range of this elemental, exactly the same as Corrupting Shadow, and it functions the same way as Corrupting Shadow in regards to if you get hit, you increase your stacks. Fiery Meteor is a massive circle that goes out. You either need the whole raid on this side to soak it or run immunity soaks and rotate people through that way. On Heroic, there's an ability called Molten Eruption, which causes small red circles that spawn that need to be soaked. If you fail to soak, your whole raid will take huge damage, 1 player per soak. Swirling Flame will send out several fire tornadoes in a cone on random players. Dodge these, but communicate to the Molgoth side if those tornadoes are going to go at them. For tanks on this side, Flame Slash is your mechanic that you'll be dealing with in phase 1. Good news again for Paladins and DKs, AMS, Spell Warding, and Bubble can be used to reset the stacks on Flame Slash. Once the bosses hit 50% or one of them hits 50%, phase 2 will trigger. All the abilities from phase 1 kind of get smooshed together with a twist. You'll likely use Hero and Lust here as you just want to kill the boss as quickly as you can before stacks get too high. Same as the other 2 bosses in phase 1, Molgoth has a dot that goes out on everyone in range of him and it ramps up. This one's called Shadow Flame. It's a fire dot that reduces health and serves as a soft enrage for phase 2. Tanks in phase 2, you always need to face the boss away from the raid as Molgoth has a frontal ability called Shadow Flame Burst. This is a massive frontal that deals big shadow damage. Your taunt swap here is Withering Vulnerability. Gloom Conflagration is the same as Meteor but with an exotic name. Shut up, I know I said it wrong. Immunes do work on this, so again you can shuffle what you have and rotate them through these soaks. Note that after the soak occurs though, it will leave a Coalescing Void, which is a proximity bomb, so you need to get away as quickly as possible after the soak. Blistering Twilight will go on several players who need to move away from the raid and not drop fire everywhere. This is a 6-second debuff with an 8-yard range, so just move out to safe spaces. Be aware though, when this expires, it will shoot fire tornadoes out at everyone, so stay frosty peeps. Lastly, on Heroic Convergent Eruption, the boss will launch bolts that become swirls that need to be soaked. If you miss a soak, huge damage goes out onto the raid, and when you soak the swirls, orbs will then appear after the soak and rush towards that location center that again you need to dodge. So there's a bit going on in phase 2 which you need to pay attention to. Any questions, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all next time. See ya, fam.